Hi, I'm Kelly Huck, founder of SoCal Paddle Yoga. We're here today in sunny Southern California, and I'm so excited Outdoor Master has invited me to be here with you for SUP Yoga. Today I'm going to be practicing on the Synergy Yoga SUP board sold by Outdoor Master. I love this board for yoga and fitness on the water because it's 35 inches wide, so it's super stable, and it's also has a full-length deck pad at 10 foot 6 inches long, so that there's less slipping and more gripping while transitioning through our poses on the board. Now that we're on the water, as you can see, we're in a controlled environment using a pool. But if you were to be outside at an ocean or in a lake, you want to check the weather conditions. Make sure that there's not a lot of wind and that you feel safe. In order to do that, it really helps for SUP Yoga to anchor the board. Here I've used mushroom anchors on the sides of the pool. That's keeping me in one place, but you can also substitute the mushroom anchors for a dumbbell you may have at the house, or use maybe a recyclable grocery bag, fill it up with some sand, and that'll serve your purpose. Today I'm going to be teaching you a beginner SUP yoga class. I promise this sequence will keep you feeling more comfortable moving around on the board. We're going to keep a lot of body parts in contact with the board. Remember, our hips are the heaviest part of our bodies, so the closer your hips are to the water, the more stable you're going to feel. So let's grab our paddle and get started. We're going to use the paddle as our prop to warm up some shoulder stretches. So go ahead and grab the paddle in both hands. Take your hands about shoulder distance, a little wider, and reach the paddle up to the sky. Staying here, start to take the paddle back behind you. As you can tell, or see, or feel, it's going to be a little bit of resistance. So if that happens to you, go ahead and take your hands even wider. So the more you do this motion, the more opening you're going to find. I like to think of this like flossing your teeth. You're basically flossing your shoulders. So we'll do this about 10 times. Good, and then after you've completed that, go ahead and take your paddle, again, shoulder distance, hands maybe a little wider, and we'll take the paddle up to the sky. I'm gonna start taking one side of the paddle down towards the water. This is gonna open up my left side body. Maybe you take your gaze down to the water just so that you're gentle on the back of the neck. So think that you're creating space in this whole left side of your body. Good, use an inhale, come back up. So you're upright, back to neutral, and then we'll go to the opposite side. So taking the paddle over to the left, creating space in the right side body, the right rib cage. Neck is long and relaxed here. Gaze is down towards the water. Good. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, paddle down to your thighs. So from there, we're going to take the paddle and park it out of our way. I like to use the bungee, putting the paddle perpendicular to the board so that it's off yoga mat. So at this point, here we are on a floating yoga mat. We're gonna start in child's pose. So you'll take your knees wide, big toes are touching, back behind you, hips are heavy on the heels. Start to walk your hands forward towards the nose of the board and allow your forehead to rest on the board, or maybe you stack your palms and rest your forehead on the back of your hands. Let the weight of the hips passively open up your hips here. Nice smooth breath in and out. So allowing the sun to create some heat and open the spine. Great way to open up the back side of the body. Good, go ahead and extend your arms forward so elbows are straight, and we'll walk the hands back up. Back to this position on our shins. Now remember, your belly button is going to be in the center of the board. Keep your belly button in this vicinity, so that's going to keep you stable. So coming into a tabletop position, I'll place my hands in front of these handles and my knees back. Good. For more stability, go ahead and tuck your back toes under. Otherwise, tops of the feet are on the board if you feel comfortable. So my back is flat right now. I'm in a tabletop position. We're going to move through some cat-cows to continue to wake up the spine. On your inhale, lift your tailbone up towards the sky, look up, chin up here. Belly's dropping down towards the water. On your exhale, pull the belly up and away from the water, round your back, tuck your chin. Again, inhale, belly drops down towards the water, tailbone lifts up, chin up. Exhale, release. Belly in, chin in. Tailbone's reaching towards the back of the knees here. 2 more times, inhale, lifting the tailbone up, open up your chest, lead with your heart, and then exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Last time, inhale, opens you, chin up, exhale, release. We're gonna open up the knees wide, sit back on the heels for another child's pose, this time keeping the hands out in front. Use an inhale, walk your hands over to the right rail of the board, the side of the board. Maybe you stack left palm on top of right, pin your left hip down, and breathe here into the left side body. Similar to what we did with that shoulder stretch using our paddle. Hips are nice and heavy, we're creating space. Use your inhale to walk the hands back through center, over to the left rail. I'm going to stack right hand on top of left, pin my right hip down, and breathe into my right side body. Walk back through center, and we're going to come back up into our tabletop position. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. Start to pick your knees up off the paddleboard. Straighten out the back of the legs for your first downward facing dog. You may need to adjust yourself to get your belly button back over the center. Good, we'll hold this down dog for 3 breaths. Go ahead and put a little bend in the knees if the low back is tight. Beginners, super important to also keep that bend in the knees to honor your low back. As you start to feel a little more comfortable, you can straighten out the legs, maybe pedal the feet. Good. And then we're going to bring the knees back down. Use this tabletop to transition to child's pose. Good. I want to get you comfortable with moving on the board, just not being static and holding poses. So we're going to work that sequence a couple times using our breath. So the inhale breath is going to take you up to table. You're going to tuck your toes under, complete your exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take an inhale here, drop your knees down to table. Exhale, untuck the toes, child's pose. Again, inhale, table. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, table. Exhale, child's pose. When we stand up and paddle, we keep our feet in one place most of the time. Yoga is going to make you more comfortable moving around on the board. Good. So we're going to come back in this downward facing dog pose. So in down dog, start to walk your feet together so that your ankles touch, your knees touch. You're gluing your legs together as if the board imagines you have one leg. We're going to start to take one foot off the board. This way you can start to lift up into 3-legged dog, and the board does not react to you taking a body part off the board. You're totally centered. Good. Go ahead and exhale that right leg down. Reset the feet. Take the left leg up. Press through the heel. Good. Exhale, back to downward facing dog, feet hip width or wider. At any point, if you need a break, child's pose. Returning to your tabletop position, belly button over the center of the board. We're going to take the right leg and extend it out back behind you. Keep your toes on the board for this first part. Then you're going to take your opposite arm, your left arm, and reach it out in front. At this point, take your eyes off of the board. Then, when you feel comfortable, start to lift this back foot off the board. You want to keep this foot flexed. If you point this foot, the hip's going to open up. So keep the foot flexed, and that's the opposite of pointing the foot. So the toes are pulling towards your face. Good, and then extend through the heel, reach past the fingertips, balancing tabletop. We're going to try that on the second side. So hand comes down, knee comes down, nice and slow movement. Extend your left leg back behind you. Keep the toes on the board, press through your back heel. Just feel comfortable here before you take your right arm forward. Eyes lift up off the board, then start to lift your back leg off the board, back foot flexed. Good. Engage your core, lift the belly up and away from the water to keep stable, squeeze your outer hips together. Exhale, hand comes down, knee comes down. So we're back in our tabletop position. If you're feeling unstable, go ahead and walk the knees even wider. Hands can be wider than shoulder width, especially on a wide board like this one. If you want to continue working balancing tabletop, maybe you don't extend the leg and keep the toes on the board. See if you can take right leg back, left arm forward without that stage one. You can stay right here, or if you want to take it up a notch, flirt with the edge a little more, go ahead and bend your back knee and see if you can grab a hold of a toe, maybe your foot. If you've done that, go ahead and press into your hand to get the leg even higher. Try to get knee away from water. Without slingshotting your foot, let go. Come back through balancing table and exhale in tabletop. So we're going to do that on the second side. This time it's left leg back, right arm forward, squeezing the hips together, extending in opposite directions, leg and arm, and then bending that back knee, finding your foot, taking the knee up and away from the water. This is called tiger pose. Without slingshotting the foot, you'll let go, return to your balancing tabletop. Right hand down, left hand down. Let's come into child's pose. To finish off our beginner class, we're going to work with some low lunges. Again, a lot of body parts are in contact with the board, so you should feel very stable. I'll walk you through. Come back into your tabletop, lift your knees up off the board. We're going to start in downward facing dog. You can use that three-legged dog, raising the right leg, to get some length here, because we're going to step the right foot forward next to the right thumb. Drop your back knee down. That's your anchor here. Walk your right foot far to the right rail. You've got 35 inches here. Use it. Walk your back knee to the left. Sink low with your hips. Hips are heavy. Hips are going to weight us down towards the water. Bring your hands to your hips. At this point, shoulders are stacked over hips, so you're balanced. Go ahead and press into your front foot. Take your arms out to the side and up to the sky. You can stay right here or start to take your gaze up. A little bit more challenging, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Good. Exhale, bringing the hands back down to frame your foot. You're going to tuck your back toes under, engage your core, step your right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. We're going to do that on the second side. Extend your left leg back behind you. Bring that left foot forward next to your left thumb. Drop your back knee down. Set yourself up for success here. Foundation strong. So left foot to the left, right knee to the right. Sink the hips low. Press into this front foot, hands to hips. Now you've got your shoulders stacked over hips. You're balanced. Arms can come out and up. Eyes can be up or forward. Return the hands back down to frame your foot. You'll tuck your toes under, come back to your downward facing dog. If you'd like to join me to seal in your practice, we're going to come to a seated position, any comfortable position for you. Take your arms up to the sky. Exhale your hands to your heart. Maybe you close your eyes, bow your head, honor yourself for getting on your yoga mat today, whether it's floating or on land. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Please like the video and be sure to subscribe to the Outdoor Master channel on YouTube. We'll be posting more videos there so that we can practice together more.